ready.
Welcome to the Kas Show with Chris Ryan. I'm your host, Eric Sell.
And I'm Chris Ryan.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Ryan Harris as well, baseball correspondent.
Remember him from last week.
Remember him from all the time. He's the greatest. One thing we like to do on the show is we don't want to bog you down with who's kneeling and who's not kneeling. Actually, on ESPN right now, there's a bar that just says kneeling, and it's just keeping tabs on everyone that's kneeling. I don't want to talk about the implications and what the president thinks and how the president sends the vice president
you don't want
to
to
go
talk
out
about it,
there
but you are
to
talking
go
about
to the
it. We
San
do this every
Francisco
week.
game,
We do this every
which is
week.
where the protests started.
I'm done.
Me too.
Hashtag protest.
The Dolphins won this week.
So, if you haven't heard, now you heard, the Dolphins' offensive line coach was caught last week
Lines.
snorting a mysterious white powder and was proceeded to be let go by the team.
He resigned. He was not let go, thank you. It takes a lot more than the Dolphins to fire than doing a couple lines of white substance, alright? He quit.
So
he said
Miami.
Dolphins, anyone you guys know.
Alright, and we have a lot to get through today, including our fail fiesta because we had absolutely terrible fantasy picks. But first, I need to tell this joke. If you were going to tell me that a bill ruined the Dolphins' offensive line, I would have thought you were talking about LaShawn McCoy.
That is a good
Nope.
one. I have to say it's a good
It's a
one.
good
Richard
joke.
Jackson, the
It's a good
$20
joke.
bill. It only took $20 to ruin the Dolphins. Who knew?
It sure wasn't it Grant or Hamilton?
I don't know. That might have been Andrew Hamilton, whichever one's on the $20.
Shouts out to Laramie Tunsil for being like, I only smoked weed! Like, not the worst scandal on the O-line.
Y'all forget about me now.
Is it Hamilton on the 20?
Jackson 20.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're doing a fail
I thought you were
fiesta.
trying to correct you. I was like, oh,
A
Right,
fail
that's the
fiesta
wrong
because
one.
we were bad hosts. Last week I told you guys I liked Latavius Murray over Jerick McKinnon, then doubled down by saying I liked Murray over Alvin Kamara. And McKinnon led the team in both rushing and receiving yards, including a 58-yard touchdown, and Alvin Kamara is a certified god, having an excellent rookie season, can catch out of the backfield, and can do it without scoring touchdowns. And for a running back that isn't drafted in almost every fantasy league, that's amazing.
So I'm not sure if I should look better or worse for this,
You
but I
look
said
worse. That's why you're wearing the worst hat.
I said pick up Deshaun Watson, so I get do I get partial credit? And then I said bench him this week against the vaunted Chiefs defense. So what does he do? He goes out and throws 5 touchdowns.
Only 5, huh?
Only 5.
Wait, the fantasy update. Blueberries.
Better
Yeah.
late than never.
No, I'm very off on it every single week.
You never know when it's coming. That's the fun part.
Yeah, that's why it's so off.
Alright, here's your next pick, Harry.
I have picks. Alright, my next pick is, for this week, my pick is Will Fuller. After returning from a shoulder injury, Fuller had caught 6 out of 9 targets for 2 touchdowns and 0 drops. The Browns can't keep their offense on the field, so I'm thinking the big athletic freak of Will Fuller can catch not only those 50-50 balls, but a bunch of wide open passes that they're going to leave him open for because they're probably going to be doubling DeAndre Hopkins.
My fantasy pick, you better get him this week before it's too late, is Jerick McKinnon. He may or may not still be available in your league. As he's
He
available
probably isn't.
about 40%, that's almost half. That's almost half of ESPN leagues. He's facing a below average Green Bay defense this week, and I just really wanted to pick him to point out that Harry was completely wrong about Latavius Murray.
I was very wrong. Confirmed.
Zeke had 116 rushing yards against that defense, so I'm hoping that McKinnon can do the same.
Bonus pick, Marlon Mack, who's going to cut into Frank Gore's yards because Frank Gore played with Steve Spurrier.
He's a legend.
Frank Gore's 1,000 years old.
I think Frank Gore beat Father Time. They say he's undefeated. I think he's got 1 KO.
My stream defense for this week is the Falcons. Normally, hashtag anyone playing the Browns, but anyone playing the Dolphins. Can't get in the end zone, what up?
Beat the Mariota-less Titans by 6 points. Was
Yeah,
it
we
at
did.
home? I think it was.
We did the same thing the Gators did, where we were up by 6 and then we missed the extra point, and I was like, it's gonna happen again. It's gonna happen.
17 to 16. So I don't care what Harry. We'll get to that in a minute. I don't care what Harry says. If he gets to have a streaming D, then I can have a streaming quarterback. I'm gonna roll with Case Keenum this week. Former Heisman Trophy winner Sam Bradford looked so bad against the Bears on Monday night that they pulled him in favor of Keenum, who is also, of course, facing a below-average Packers defense. So while he hasn't really put up great numbers except the Bucs this year,
Anyone can do a quarterback. It's so easy. Watch.
Everybody can do
Carson
offense.
Wentz. Carson Wentz is owned in about 80% of ESPN leagues, and he's good. Carson Wentz is good. I would pick up Carson Wentz. Looks like a senior at a high school party that tries to get all the freshmen to make out with. But besides that, he's a good fantasy option.
You know the thing about the high school girls is I keep getting older.
They say the same age.
And that's high school talk.
Can we talk about the touchdown celebrations so far this year?
Okay.
I absolutely love them. From the Vikings playing Duck Duck Goose on Monday Night
Duck
Football,
Duck Grey Goose, thank you. Duck Duck Grey Goose. Grey Goose.
to the Eagles walk off
Wow,
on
great,
run.
great duck. Wow, great duck.
Grey Duck?
Ah, you messed it up.
It's Duck Duck Grey Duck.
Duck Duck,
Duck,
Grey
duck, Grey Duck, Goose.
I love that they've been able to bring them back this year. My favorite one so far this year is Juju Smith-Schuster of the Pittsburgh Steelers, taking it for 6 and then hitting them with the Kamehameha. Shout out Goku.
Shout out.
Ha!
10 out of 14 games this week were decided by 6 or fewer points. And I know that that's an interesting stat, and it's like the most in like the history of the NFL.
But there were some ugly games.
They're bad. They're bad. And it's not the games are trash.
It's
These
the
teams are trash.
Pats,
The Pats are trash. They're not good.
Bucks,
Garbage.
Bengals,
Rubbish.
Bills,
Synonym for trash.
Jets,
Jets are a waste of a football team. I'm sorry, New York.
Browns,
Suck. Browns suck.
Panthers,
Compost.
Lions,
Junk.
Colts,
Suck.
Niners,
They're not very good.
Dolphins,
Dolphins are awful.
Titans,
Need a quarterback.
Chargers,
Chargers suck.
Giants.
Y'all don't feel bad for New York?
Not at all.
No one feels bad.
No.
Neither New
Eli's-
York team.
No,
No
Eli.
one feels bad for
2-0
either.
against Tom Brady.
Alright, suck.
Not
suck.
at all.
Let's go suck.
Seahawks,
Seahawks aren't bad.
Rams,
I like the Rams. I think the Rams are good. Sean
Big
McVay.
Bay, Packers.
They have one good player, and it's good enough where
To
you can
mask
beat every other
The
team.
atrocities of the entirety. Cowboys,
Apparently they suck.
Vikings.
Terrible. Bears
Bears.
are terrible. Bears are terrible. Is that it?
I think it's ironic that the Jets were the New York team supposed to go 0-16 and draft Sam Darnold. They're 3-2. They are so bad they played their way out of getting the franchise quarterback. So they're gonna suck for another.
Let's be real. The Jets are gonna beat the Pats this week. Heard it here first.
If he's wrong, he's got to wear this one.
I'll wear that one. That one's cute.
And the other New York team was a popular Super Bowl pick. A lot of people picked them. Nick Wright picked them.
The Jets?
Nick wrong.
Somebody picked the
Yeah.
Jets to win the
No,
Super
no,
Bowl?
no. The Giants.
Self-5.
Somebody picked the Giants? How high were they?
Oh yeah.
But everyone went into the season,
Yeah,
oh, we got
Marcus,
Brandon Marshall, we paid our
yeah.
defense,
Got
we're going to
him
come
down,
together,
yeah.
and
Splitting the
Sterling
field.
Shepard looks so good. And
But now it looks like Sam Darnold might end up in the Big Apple after all.
Woohoo.
All right, so we have Ryan on here for a reason, right? You're the baseball correspondent. Marvelous. Diamondbacks had police on horseback outside their in-stadium pool, making sure no Dodgers got to get in after they beat them.
That's soft.
It's soft.
That's soft. It's soft, and if you really want to go jump in that pool, I'd have jumped over a horse. I clinched. I don't know. I'm shooting beers off. In the
What's a horse gonna do?
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, what's
Horse
a
ain't jumping in the pool.
Horse ain't jumping in the
You ever been
pool.
kicked by a horse?
No, have you ever been kicked by a horse?
No, but I know.
Is that why you're not on the Red Sox
I knew a
anymore?
girl once. No, that was lack of.
Hey, am I wearing this backwards? This hurts.
Alright, and then finally on today's episode, we're going to preview the NBA season, Ryan.
Oh, LeBaron and Dwayne Wade are back on that banana boat doing banana boat things with
Who?
each other. LeBaron and Dwayne.
LeBaron.
The LeBaron guy. And then, yeah, so the Warriors are going to shoot 100 million threes. They'll beat their records from last year. And then when the NBA Finals is all they call it, they need a better name for it. Like Super Bowl, World Series, NBA Finals. Oh.
Dubs
Call it
and
the
three.
Golden Rim or something. I don't know. Like, that's, I don't know.
Hashtag Golden Rim.
Hashtag Rim Job. I don't know. That's the show.
That's the show
That's
this week.
NBA.
If you like what you heard, subscribe to our YouTube page.
And if you
Keep up
don't,
with the show
watch
on
it.
Twitter at Kas Podcast. And if you don't,
Keep watching anyways. You get nothing else to do, obviously.
Clearly.
worst hats on any podcast ever.
Not advertising for Taco Bell whatsoever.
Oh, not at all. Unless you'll pay me. I like the beefy Fritos burrito.
If you're watching, that's my favorite
Right,
thing.
it's so good.
I was just talking to somebody
So
last weekend
good.
about that.
Free advertising for Taco Bell. I don't talk about it.
The
Unless you're
beefy
paying me,
Frito
I'll say it.
burrito.